tell me a little bit about your journey and how you created this life you lead.
Well, it's very interesting. Thank you for that nice introduction. I'm flattered. Life has been interesting, as I'm sure it is for anyone, but it has its particular challenges, both as a professional, dealing with people. I've learned a lot about human nature, a lot about myself. But an important part of my life is also being a parent and being a friend to people who are close to me and trying to be a decent person, I think, and using good judgment and having high values. But as a plastic surgeon, I started my route many years ago and decided to go into medical school. First, I thought I'd be an engineer and maybe a scientist, and every kid was involved or interested in space. But the reality was I liked dealing with people and did decide to choose medical school. Fortunately, got into a few and went to a fine one in New York City. After that, it was a decision as to whether to go into cardiology or to become a surgeon. Of course, I chose the latter. And in time, doing surgery on the brain, doing surgery on the heart, I realized that when I was an older man, probably about 40 from that perspective, probably not like to be running into an emergency room in the middle of the night. And so I liked working on different parts of the body. Plastic surgery became very appealing to me. That was quite a commitment because after 4 years of medical school, 4 years of college, 5 years of surgical residency, I had to do another 2 years of plastic and reconstructive surgery. That all completed about 30 years ago, and I started on the path of working as a professional and taking the responsibility for making people feel better about themselves, getting them through illnesses, and subsequently specializing more in getting to make people feel good about who they are. Part of that is, of course, how they look and how they perceive their own body image, but it's been very fulfilling. My initial work was focused on burns and industrial hand injuries, and I'm proud to say I had the successful experience of reattaching a draftsman's hand one time as an example. Other times reconstructing severe injuries to people's faces, hands, bodies, and it was very gratifying. But these are people who really didn't want to be there. It was forced upon them. They generally had an accident or some trauma. And I realized that people who feel badly about their appearance, for example, the classic bump on the nose or a girl with a long nose or a large nose, their issues are as important to them and are as significant in their life as a severe burn would be to somebody who had that misfortune. So I realized that there's a lot of value in helping people to feel better about how they look. And I actually had the interesting experience of being on a television show for a few years where they went behind the scenes and they showed the individual person's family and their home life. And as a plastic surgeon, I rarely got to see that, but it was a way to delve into how the effects of plastic surgery changed their lives, affected their family members, generally positively, not always, but generally positively. So it gave a lot of value to the experience that I had, the path that I had chosen, in working with patients to make them feel better and happier about themselves. So it's been very gratifying. On the side, I found to my surprise that I really love parenting. And I have 2 children. One's grown who still lives with me and is working, graduated from school, and another young child who's about 8 years old, going on 9. And I never realized I had this powerful side. I almost call it maternal because I feel very caring and responsible for each of them. And that's become an important part of my life. So integrating the two has been a bit of a challenge. How can you have an active practice, have responsibility 7 days a week for patients you've operated on, and yet be there for your kids? And so that's been an interesting challenge for me, but it seems to have worked out pretty well so far.